Right, so this is Kensington Gardens in sort of west central London, and we have a plurality of air ambulances. I'm just trying to work out where they're from, because they don't seem desperately local. Which is odd, because usually the local one lands here if they want to pick up people and set them back down again, and sometimes it comes here to pick up people that have been transferred in. So rather than having something like a Sea King land, this is weird. You expect at least one to be a London one, and that one's an Essex or Hertfordshire one, and I don't actually know where this one's from, so don't know if they're having a meet up or what. But still, the engines aren't running, so they're not going anywhere for a while. So let's go have a wander and see what this says on the side of it. But it's not, hasn't got the registration for one of the London ones, so I don't know. There's the police over there. Maybe they're expecting someone, but it's very odd. It's right, he's not running, so he's not going anywhere for a while. I was just trying to work out which air ambulance it was, because neither of them are the London one, which is very unusual for this field.
From Essex and Herts, mate. So this is a spare aircraft that we've got.
Just lying around and
As you do.
yeah, well, it's a nicer day on sort of Monday and Tuesday if you're going to go for a run. But
A bit more chilly today.
so you're actually picking anybody up here?
Picking up the team. So they've
Your team?
yeah. So we've taken 2 patients into St Mary's. So we're just getting back,
So-
get the team back to.
So did you actually fly to? So St Mary's got a helipad?
No, this is the helipad for St
Yeah,
Mary's.
because the London one lands here a lot, both to
Yeah.
pick people up and deposit them, but
Yeah.
also to exchange people. So sometimes you get a Sea King landing over there.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Come up from the south coast with somebody on board, because
Yeah.
they probably don't want to try and land on the hospital. It would be ambitious.
It would be. It would be.
So is there more writing on the other side? Because they haven't.
It's the same. It's basically on the same on the other side.
So was this? Did they get this used on you?
Oh, this is just a company spare. So.
Oh, so the company that rents the helicopter to the air ambulance
so
people.
The leasing, the operating company have a spare aircraft. So when our main one, which is away on service at the moment.
But not that one.
So that we have two. We operate 2 aircraft.
Yes.
That one's based out of near Colchester. This one's based out near Northfield, or off Northfield. So slightly different, well, different aircraft types, but this is the same aircraft type as this one, but it's a spare. Hence different different.
Yes, so
colours.
they look the same as the London ones.
They are the same type in general terms, slightly different engines and all the rest of it, but in general terms.
So they're both 2 engine,
Sorry?
both dual engined.
Twin engines, yeah.
Probably a very good idea if you're hovering over a block of flats,
Yeah,
especially if it happens to be a hospital.
yeah, so twin engine, but obviously no tail rotor on either of these.
Yep. Again, a bit of a plus if you landed in the fields.
Parks.
I don't know how well you know London, because I remember seeing the London Air Ambulance landed in Cambridge Circus,
Oh yes.
which is really small and with lots of really tall stuff around
Yeah.
it. And
Yeah.
watching them take off from there, that was really quite something.
It is.
Because
It
it
is.
literally goes straight up, because there's just wires and poles, and
Yeah.
so that was a while back now.
They
So-
have preferred landing sites for various all the main ones, Trafalgar Square, Cambridge Circus, etc. Try and get themselves into
All right.
good positions.
So how old is this one?
I honestly don't know. No, you'd have to ask one of the pilots that.
All right.
But this is from Cornwall, hence the CNWL.
All right.
Used to be the old Cornwall aircraft.
Aha. Well, I do like a good helicopter, and I'm spoiled for choice today.
So,
Do you mind if I shove my camera in your a little bit?
oh, that's fine.
I promise not to fly it away. Plus these things take so long to get going anyway.
We used to say that if you can start it, you can fly it.
Aha! Do you want to know how many hours I've got on
No,
helicopter
no,
sims?
I was not saying that we used to say.
Yeah. So actually last time I looked, the new version of Microsoft Flight Simulator didn't have helicopters in it yet, so...
It's probably a good thing.
Anyway, I hope you don't mind me peering at your helicopter. Do like a good helicopter. And sport for choice today.
Right, yeah.
And also neither of the ones that I expected to see, because I thought that looked a bit odd, and I just wondered if they repainted one of the London ones a bit, but it's rather hard to tell when they're flying.
Yeah.
So Oh dear.
They're like buses, aren't they? There's no helicopters a month and then 2 turn up together.
I don't know, I haven't been here for like, well, other than yesterday, for like 3 months, because it's just, I live just too far west to make it sensible for, you know, making it here during lockdown. So anyway, I'm going to go visit the more colourful one.
Okay.
They definitely, I don't know, I suppose it's the same basic colour scheme, isn't it? So, hope you have some fun flying away again. So, one question, every time I've seen something take off here, it tends to spend quite a long time thinking about it beforehand, making sure everything's okay.
Yeah.
Is there an option where you can actually wind it up a lot more quickly if you needed to?
It would depend on the helicopter type. So some aircraft need longer to thermally stabilise the engines and do things like the checks for the auto flight systems.
Yeah.
These are quite quick normally. So from the time which you start, typically we'll be airborne a couple of minutes afterwards.
Is that sort of the minimum number?
There's no set minimum.
Yeah, if there was something really, really urgent you needed to get to...
Ask, are you recording audio on this? Because if you are, then you probably need to ask her permission first.
Oh, can I have your permission? I've just...
Depends what use you're going to use it for.
I don't know, probably nothing. I might put it on YouTube if nobody objects, but I was just...
no problem at all. It's just one of those things you've got to double check.
All right. Don't worry.
So,
I wasn't planning on making any money out of it, look at it that way.
No, so if we are departing on a tasking from base, because at the moment we're here to pick up our crew, but if we're departing on task, then obviously it's a fairly expeditious start.
Yes.
These engines particularly don't need thermally stabilising, so basically as fast as we can turn the switches, the aircraft will start.
Is that because it's a relatively recent one, or...?
It's a relatively modern engine compared to older sort of generations of engines.
But it's been around a while now, so...
Yeah, but the engines, the 207 engines are quite good.
Okay. Okay. Well, anyway, thank you very much for all that. It's
Yep,
always, like I said, it's a very nice day seeing a few of these. Usually you just get one of the London ones and the occasional Sea King coming up from the coast to swap somebody over.
Yeah.
So do you actually that's a question, do you fly to any of the helipads at the hospitals in London? Or?
We do, yeah. Yeah, so it depends where our medical team has gone to. So quite often the medical team would go into the Royal London from our area. Certain hospitals are designated what's called major trauma centres.
Yes.
If they've got a certain number of specialities, things like thoracics and various other medical specialities.
Yeah.
So quite often we go to the Royal London, but just because of where the job was located today, then they've gone to St Mary's.
Alright.
And then St Mary's doesn't have a dedicated pad, so they'll just get a lift down here and come up from here.
So I just wondered whether you need any special training or anything to land at a helicopter pad on top of something.
You need elevated helipad training.
All right. So presumably you get that as part of being an air ambulance pilot, regardless, even if you're out in the middle of nowhere where it's very flat, like Cornwall.
It's not unique to us pilots who fly to gas production platforms and all.
Oh, yeah, good point.
So they're all elevated.
And a little bit more exciting. I suppose actually our hospital in the middle of the city is probably quite exciting as well if it gets windy.
Yeah.
But I imagine it gets windy in the North Sea as well.
It does,
so.
yeah. We've got a limit of 60 knots for going to helidecks.
That's quite a lot.
Yeah.
I landed
that's only relatively recent. I mean, when I started on the North Sea, there was no limit. So I've seen people crawl across the helideck to get to the helicopter.
That was presumably a much bigger helicopter.
It was, yeah.
So, rather you than me.
Right, no, nice to meet you.
Thank you very much.
It's a pleasure.
I've really enjoyed talking to you.
Okay, thank you very much.
I do like a nice helicopter. Anyway, I will get out of your way. Oh dear. Right, let's wander down here. Yawn. So this is the non-spare one. So this is again in Kensington Gardens. If you sort of look behind the helicopter, it's the Italian Gardens, which is at the top of Long Water, which is what the north bit of the Serpentine's called. Oh, wave at the nice policeman. The pilot over there was saying they used to say if you can fly it, you can take it, but apparently they don't say that anymore ever since flight simulators came along. All right. Well, okay, but then if I wander around, you're going to be in the shot briefly. So, but no, it's very unusual because usually, you don't get two from a long way away. Well, relative. I mean, Essex, it's.
They said they were allowed to go up to where the propellers they all come over. So you have your pictures there and then from there, yeah? I just want to get a sign.
Right, anyway, I think that was a very nice interview, and since I'm looking into the sun now, it's a bit limiting, so I'll wrap this thing up.